Hello and welcome to the first Daily Rundown of the week with me, Dan Morfitt. On the Daily Rundown on Channel 7, we look at some of the big stories of the day and some little ones too that you might have missed. Today we're talking about fake bombs, Stalin songs and schools that don't exist. We didn't start the fire, it was always burning since the world was turning. Later on there'll also be some abracadabra from Magical Craig. But to start, I'll introduce the pair we'll be discussing all of this with, tonight's guests. First of all, she's an apprentice clown and a proper award-winning comedian, the magnificent Nina Gilligan.
Hello.
Is that a nice introduction?
That's a lovely introduction. Let's wait and see what the next one's like.
The next one's good. And also joining us is Ouija, corporate financier and supporter of museums, dance studios and many other community projects. The also hugely magnificent Stephen Lindsay.
Excellent introduction. Thank you very much. It is a pleasure to be here.
I think I might need to take issue with the hugely. He got a hugely.
He asked me to.
Yeah. I had to cut it back.
He would have. Oh,
I know.
Biblical. No, it's not all about us on the Daily Rundown. You can join in too by tweeting us at the Daily Rundown. We'd love to hear from you, and if you can follow us at the same time, it makes us look good in front of our bosses. Right, time for our first news story. On Sunday, Old Trafford football ground was evacuated after a dummy bomb from a training exercise led on to a full bomb scare. Elrod has more on this.
Old Trafford was evacuated on Sunday after a suspicious package was discovered in the toilets shortly before United's Premier League match-up with Bournemouth. After the device was safely destroyed by an army bomb disposal unit, it was found out that it was a fake device accidentally left behind from a training exercise earlier in the week. Around 76,000 people were evacuated. The game has been rescheduled for Tuesday night and United are set to lose more than £3 million. All fans have been given refunds and free tickets to United's final Premier League game of the season. Adam Johnson was working inside Old Trafford when the package was discovered.
So yesterday was a really strange experience. I was working inside the stadium as a kiosk assistant, and I was in the East Stand, so I was with the Bournemouth fans. And about 10 to 3, a lot of them all came down and asked where all the Man United fans had gone, because we'd heard nothing at this point. So we were confused as them, and they started showing us pictures on their phone of how empty the North Stand was. So we weren't fully aware of what was going on at this point. And then about 3 o'clock, I received a text of a friend saying, Old Trafford's been evacuated, are you okay? And there was a lot of confusion between everybody, including like from the fans to the stewards to the staff members. We weren't fully aware of what was happening.
Greater Manchester's Mayor and Police and Crime Commissioner Tony Lloyd branded yesterday's events a fiasco. He has called for an urgent inquiry into how this happened, why it happened, and who will be held accountable.
The question's actually, first of all, the obvious one as to why the exercise could go so badly wrong, why in putting dummies, quite rightly to test security, and United do the right thing by testing their security, but why those dummies that were counted out weren't counted back in again, and in not the numbers not matching up, why that didn't lead to continuous search until it was found. But also, of course, maybe as worryingly, that for something to be discovered only 20 minutes before the kick-off of a game where tens of thousands of people would already be in the stadium, that's not acceptable.
Mr. Lloyd also noted how the scare was a huge inconvenience for fans who had travelled in for the event. One supporter had flown all the way from Sierra Leone to catch the game. Many accounts from Old Trafford stated how there was an air of annoyance from Manchester United fans.
We saw floods of United fans just sort of walking past us. So most of them angry at more than anything that they'd wasted their time. Mm-hmm. That was the general sort of consensus among fans, to be honest. It was less of a, thank goodness we've got out of there. There was a bomb. It was more of a, for goodness sake, we've got to go home type thing.
In a statement, Manchester United Football Club Executive Vice Chairman Ed Woodward said, "The club takes security very seriously and staff are regularly trained with the police and emergency services to identify and deal with these incidents. We will investigate the incident to inform future actions and decisions." Elrod, the Daily Rundown.
Now, I don't know whether this is the most surreally stupid story of the year, or if we really should be taking this deadly serious.
I know. You feel like it may well be too soon to take the mickey out of this, but
No, you should.
I think finding it in a toilet was the thing that, I mean, I've left things in toilets before, but that
never caused a
apparently it
mess,
was
yeah.
a stink bomb.
Were any of them terrorism threats?
I think some of them might have been.
You've got to have a laugh about it because it was actually what it was in the end.
It's also like, it's kind of like a slipping on the banana skin joke, isn't it? It nearly, we're laughing because we're relieved nobody actually hurt themselves, I think.
But there's serious aspects. I was actually unusually going to that game with some mates, and I don't go to Old Trafford very often, not my team. So we sort of experienced it firsthand, not in terms of going in and having to come back out, but just walking to the stadium when everyone seemed to be leaving. And we thought, hold on, it's 2 hours just gone past. That was obviously a longer drinking session than we thought it was. But there was a serious aspect, or one of them is, as Tony Lloyd, I think, said in that clip, they're supposed to check the stadium for suspect devices before a match.
Yeah, way before a match.
So this is a suspect device, and it's in a toilet.
And I think it was,
only found 20 minutes to 3.
Wasn't it an obviously suspect device? It couldn't have been
Mobile
more
phone.
suspect if it had been like a cartoon with bomb.
The worst thing
Acme.
is, if it was a proper terrorist threat, and we've been told that there's a high incidence of Northern Irish terrorism looming over us again. We're on high alert for ISIS terrorism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like this could have been the worst atrocity in the history of terrorism.
I know.
And what's actually happened is 6,000 Bournemouth fans had to travel all the way back down to Bournemouth.
Correct.
Even worse, 8,000 Man United fans also had to travel back down to Bournemouth. And that's the thing, it's a serious thing, but
it didn't happen.
No, and the good news was it was nothing as it happened, but there's serious points in it.
Hasn't there been a bit of a thing going on this week? Weren't we in trouble this week as well they did an acting out?
Yeah,
at a shopping centre.
At a shopping centre and used a deeply offensive way to kick it off.
You see, I've got a different opinion on that one. I'm glad you've raised that, because it's seems perfectly reasonable to say, how dare they say, I think it was Allah Akbar was what was being shouted. How dare they say that, has been the comment. Now, they're having a role play. So it's got to be as realistic as it can be. The main bomb terrorist threat in Britain today is from ISIS. And when ISIS attacked Paris, when they attacked Brussels, when they attacked wherever, that is what's shouted.
But I think in the context of what we've got is like a growing sort of fear of Islamophobia.
Yeah.
I think people are sensitive.
No, I get the sensitivity.
On Saturday as well, it sent news networks apoplectic with joy.
Yeah.
Not with fear, but with joy. Oh, Manchester United, Bournemouth, last day of the football season. This is a great story.
Yeah.
And then it slowly started to trickle out that this is a hoax. This suspect package isn't a suspect package at all. And then it came out late last night that it was actually a terrorism exercise that they'd done earlier on in the week.
Forgotten to clear up.
Only in Britain could we do a terrorism training exercise and cock it up so masterfully.
Could you imagine being the guy who was supposed to take that
And it wasn't it a
bomb
private
away,
security
watching the
company?
news last night going, no.
The blood draining from his
rushing.
face. Sadly, we've actually had comment on this. Chris Reed of Security Search Management and Solutions Limited, SSMS, said he wrongly logged the item as found on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So they've done all the checks.
Logged maybe the wrong choice.
Logged in a toilet. Honestly, scatterless human this time. It's a very strange thing as well. It had implications yesterday with the football because it was Manchester United versus Man City for the last Champions League slot. Man City got it,
And if Man City hadn't, and tomorrow's night's game was actually important for Man United, then they would have been given an unfair advantage. And the position with Bournemouth, I don't think it matters other than financially.
Yeah, it would have mattered about $1 million to $2 million in the final league place.
And I think it still does. So it's an important game to Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Man United don't Good
Talking
response.
football, isn't it?
But the point is how important it is.
It's very important.
And it's important to Bournemouth, and Man United don't care, and they're in a cup final on a Saturday, so Bournemouth could win more than they were likely to,
That's
say, on
the
Sunday.
thing, Manchester
It's
United
important.
don't have those rest days until Wembley.
Correct.
And, you know, the Premier League now is a multi-billion exercise.
Yeah.
And this match was supposed to go across the world, and it didn't.
Yeah.
And that is really bad. This does not reflect well on anybody, I think, apart from maybe Greater Manchester Police, because their, move to quell this and evacuate the stadium was great, and by the sounds of it, the stewards were fantastic.
And I don't think we have to particularly shame anyone over this.
No, it's farcical, isn't it?
It is farcical. I think it was an accident, and I think they responded pretty well on the whole. There were lessons to be learned, weren't there? They could have got checking a bit sooner.
The best thing,
but we've now learned it.
The best thing I've heard, and no word of a lie, the person that was going around looking for this could not work out what it was. So there's a photo of it around today where it's basically a pipe and something strapped to it. He went, it looks like a very highly technical electronic device.
Right.
He didn't realise it was a very old Nokia phone, and he'd never seen a phone that old before, so he didn't know what it was.
A big phone.
It's got a keypad on it, it's got a screen.
Is this the bit I
is
pull
this
up?
thing? Yeah.
Hello.
And that's what makes it...
Yeah. There's an element of the
Yeah.
cartoon and the farce about the whole thing, isn't there?
Carry on up Old Trafford.
Yeah.
That would be great, to see some comedy.
And there's something kind of, and I know we're across the nation now, but there's something beautifully Mancunian, I think, about the whole thing.
What was it? It was a dummy. Right, it's time for a quick break now. Nina and Stephen will be back in a bit. You've got about 3 minutes for a brew or visits to the smallest room in the house.
Check there's nothing there.
We'll be back on the Daily Rundown in a bit.